all it can generate is information. Do you agree with that? When you have computer technology, the only thing that will come out of this is information. It's not like a leg that can throw out nuts, or it's not like a car, a vehicle which can take you places. Technology generates data. When you have data, that data can then be analyzed, and you can create more data, right? So this has a feedback loop. This data then flows back right into it, and the circle goes. So what will happen if this cycle continues for a long time? You will have infinite data, you won't even know where to store. I'll tell you a story. When I was doing my PhD, I wrote my entire PhD in an AT&T PC6300. I don't know if anybody knows this computer. It had 640 kilobytes of RAM and 20 megabytes of hard drive. And I bet you nobody has a pen drive here that is that size. Even pen drives are like 250 and plus. So all of that has come about because of this loop. Technology, data, analysis, new technology. And that just has been going on in every discipline. This feedback loop is there. So let's look at data in another way, right? So data lives. It gets transformed. Creates new knowledge, and that looks at data. This is what is going on. So data has a life cycle. Right? So whenever somebody drops in that word life, you can always tell a moment of creation, a moment of usage, and a moment of passage. This is there for any life. You look at whether it's data, human beings, another thing, computers, trees. There's a moment of creation and a moment of transformation, series of transformations, and then finally that thing vanishes. So when we look at this kind of a title, if you are a serious thinker, right, you are getting this opportunity to think. So first of all, what is an enterprise? Can anyone in this room, it's an English dictionary, right? It's a simple word. We all take it for granted. So what do you think qualifies as an enterprise? Anybody wants to take a shot? I'm not grading you. I don't know your names. It's a free flow of information. Yes?
Is it a group of people generating economic value?
Very good. So that's good. Keep that thought. That's a good starting point. Is there anything else?
For business purpose.
What is that?
For business purpose.
Very good. It has a purpose behind enterprise, has a purpose. It has multiple, he said group of people. That is good. Let's go a little bit more abstract, right? Suppose we all become a single store. One Barnes & Noble, all of us are working. And it has a purpose to sell business. Would you call that as an enterprise? Only one store. There is no second store like that. All of us, group of people are working, there is a purpose, and it's creating some value, commerce, it is doing commerce. Would you call that as an enterprise?
Yeah.
Okay. How is it different from, is Ford Motor Company an enterprise? Is Citigroup an enterprise? Yes, right? Are there any doubts here that Ford Motor Company is not an enterprise? Or Citigroup is not an enterprise? IBM, right? Oracle, they're all enterprises. Why are they enterprises? And if they are enterprises, how come these 30 people working in one building, selling books in that one place, how could that also be an enterprise? What's the distinction between these two things?
Transfer. Offer service and transfer knowledge.
Okay. Let me give him a shot here. What's your name? Huh?
Huh?
What's your name?
Peter. Pedro,
Pedro, go ahead, Pedro.
what you're selling, what they're actually manufacturing.
So if I sold something, I'll be an enterprise if I
Well,
don't?
no, like, what I mean by that is that each company or each enterprise has their own little thing that they're known for, or what they're
Okay,
aiming to
so
do.
we are, this group of company, this hypothetical company that I placed in front of you, which sells book, they're known for selling books, but it's in one place.
If that is what we're known for, just by selling books, then that's what we do. And
It's not Amazon. Amazon, is there anyone here who also sells books? Barnes and Noble sells books. Books A Million sells books. Would you refuse to call them as an enterprise? I'm trying to drive at a subtle difference in this word. That is, if you go to these big companies, when we are operating this book club, we may not have, if it's in one place, right? There is a 99-cent pizza. I just walked around the block to get some energy, right? And I see this shop. It's one place. Is there an accounting department there? Probably not. Is there a procurement department? No. Nothing. There's no inventory. So when he wants dough one morning, he'll call somebody and say, go get some flour. That's it. It's a shop like that, right? So they're also doing commerce, but they are very small. But when you look at IBM, when you look at Citigroup, when you look at Amazon, there is elaborate departments, which is touching this data that's going through that company from different facets and extracting whatever they want to extract, and then somebody else collates them, puts it into a bigger use. For example, you go and buy 10 books that was printed 15 copies, and you buy them through Amazon. Somebody in their inventory control is going to say, look, Pedro bought 10 books. We had only 15 copies. We need to order more. So that kind of decision is being made by this data flowing through in different departments. She might be owning the accounting department. She'll say, okay, Pedro wants $35 for this 10 books, so he owes me $350, and she's going to get their accounting system in place so that it is properly received and the book company is paid. So as you can see, one transaction creates work for X number of departments. So in enterprise, you can't call my mom and pop store somewhere in one single place where the business is done by a few people an enterprise. You would call something an enterprise when it is distributed, when it has X number of units, same information is going through all of them, and they are slicing that data from different perspectives and using it in different ways, and then making a bigger thing happen. That would be an enterprise. So that's this term, and this data management really means that when Pedro bought those books, some IT department here has to make sure his address is captured, these books have been detected out of this inventory, and somebody is notified that these racks in this business is empty now. So that data is being managed. That single transaction is being managed from a monetary perspective, inventory perspective, work, logistics. If you look at FedEx, it is so successful company. Why? They're not running a transportation company, a mom and pop transportation company. They are running an enterprise. In the sense, any data that gets into their grid will be used by different facets. So you want to send a shrimp from Maine to Germany, that's doable with FedEx before that shrimp dies. Because somebody will know this barcode has some live animal, and that needs to get into Frankfurt somewhere by a certain time, and everything will be set according to that. Somebody will track it, somebody will make sure it moves, nothing dies in transit with FedEx, right? And they make money. Because they are and they are providing a value-added service, reliability of moving this precious commodity for that restaurant in Frankfurt, so they are willing to pay a premium to make this main shrimp available. Red lobster, it's not shrimp, it's a big, pardon my language, it's lobster, right? That's what it's called. So, yes, sir. What's your name again?
Swapnil Thakur.
Okay, uncle?
My question is like, the point of discussion is about the postal services. So we can see, as you mentioned, FedEx, for example. So what differentiates FedEx from USPS? Like,
Nothing,
most of
nothing.
the times.
It's the profit motivation that's missing. There is an economic concept that's called agency problem. It is also another beautiful question. So you should always integrate as you evolve, right? What's the beauty? I spent 12 years of my life in the US universities. Why? Because it gives you an opportunity to think without limit. Integrate various subjects, and then you can become something useful. So that's what that question is allowing me to think now, exercise. Why is USPS such a dogged place? People get up and start shooting at us. Or it doesn't make profits, and sometimes the letter arrives, sometimes it doesn't arrive. Whereas another company in the same vertical is highly profitable. It's a company that I would want to work for. Why? Because they have created the environment in one place to work and to be recognized for it. If in FedEx, if you created a efficient process, if you identified a pathway that is not efficient, and you go to your manager or somehow you make that concept, idea, available to senior management, they're going to reward you for it. If you try that trick in USPS, you may get fired. Or it'll say, we know about it, we'll take care of it. Or they might give you another answer, hey, this is how we do it here. So this course is also about innovation, right? Yes. So that's number one lesson in innovation. If you want to innovate, you should be prepared to challenge what is being done. If you are unwilling to challenge status quo, if you're satisfied with what you have, you're not going to create something new. If you look at Bezos, if you look at what AT&T was doing, creating chips and all of this, microchips, why this computer became that small, or why did somebody create this device here or that device here, it's all because someone was highly irritated with something that wasn't this. There must have been a person who said, I can't go and make a phone call wherever I wanted to. I have to shoot this thing. So they created this. And then they looked at it, oh my God, this keyboard, why do I need the keyboard? Is there another way to, can I get rid of the keyboard? Somebody was not happy with manual keyboard. That's why you have touch buttons. Xerox PARC, they invented the menu system, XY coordinates. Because those guys, they were unhappy having to move on a linear keyboard, A, B, C, D. They didn't want to do that. They said, hey, we want to do it in 2 dimensions. How do we do that? How do we create that? So that's again a good insight from you. If you want innovation, anybody can innovate. If you want innovation, the first thing is, am I happy with everything? Am I not happy with everything? And if I'm not happy with everything, am I willing to change it? I'll give you a nice story. This phone switch, right? In Kansas City, there was a guy who was working for AT&T, switchboard operator. And what he was doing was every day he would switch wires. You know, you made a call during those times. Oh, hold on, Mr. X. He knows which hole that wire should go in, connect it, they will talk. And this was going on, and after a while, this guy was doing this, his whole family was doing this, and they had their own friends and family circle. So if you called and said, connect me to a Pizza Hut that didn't belong in his friendly circle, he wouldn't connect you. He would only connect to his friends. So another person in Kansas City, he was getting livid. Man, this guy is running this racket here. I have to make a phone call, and he would never put